All right, so we've gone over phrases, we've started the definition of a phrase, and we did prepositional phrases. Today we're going to move on to the beginning of our what are called verbal phrases, the first of which is a participial phrase. So for today, what you're going to be able to do is identify participles and participial phrases and diagram sentences with participial phrases, including any complements and modifiers in there. So as a reminder, a phrase is a group of words that acts as a single part of speech. It does not contain both a predicate and its subject. That means that nothing is completing an actual action in a phrase, and all of the words are functioning together as a single part of speech. The five basic types, we've already talked about verb phrases. Now for other phrases, we talked about prepositional phrases that act as modifiers. Participial phrases, which we're doing today, they act as an adjective. Gerundial phrases act as nouns. Infinitives can be either nouns or modifiers. We'll get to those in a couple days. And a positive phrase is just a noun adding detail or identity to another noun next to it. So participle is a verb that is being used as an adjective. There are two types, present participles and past participles. Present participles end in ing, like running water, which water? The running water. Laughing child, which child? The laughing one. And smiling kitten, which kitten? The smiling one. So those are all describing the noun next to them. Past participles usually end in d or ed as if we did something in the past, but sometimes are irregularly formed, so half eaten, that would not be eated, it would be eaten hot dog. Elated puppy, that would be a regular participle. And a burnt marshmallow. The key thing in looking at participles is making sure that they are not next to a helping verb. If you have the man is running, in that case running is part of the action in the sentence, it's not describing the man. If I said the man running down the street looked silly, in that case running down the street would be a participle because it is describing the man. So make sure that if it is next to a helping verb or an auxiliary verb, it is probably a part of the verb phrase. Again, adjectives, which one, what kind, how many, this is always going to be what kind or which one. Now, participial phrases are phrases that contain both the participle and any complements they may have, and any modifiers that they may have. Now, although it doesn't have a subject and an action and a direct object, they may have complements because a lot of participles are, well, by nature, transitive verbs or linking verbs. So a complement may be something that is getting linked to or having an action seemingly done to it. Now, in looking at this first sentence we have here, spinning the burning lasso over his head, the villain laughed maniacally. There are two participles, okay, spinning and burning. Now, burning would be an intransitive participle because nothing is getting burnt. Okay, it's not like something is having fire set to it. Spinning, however, would have a complement because the lasso is being spun. Okay, so there you go. Spinning, lasso is your complement. Burning just gives further detail to lasso. Which one? The burning one. And then as far as modifiers go, the, of course, as an article, is a modifier of lasso. And over his head, that right there is a prep phrase. And again, prep phrases acting as modifiers. In this case, it's describing as a whole how he is spinning the burning lasso. In the second sentence, and this whole phrase here actually modifies the villain because it's describing him and what he's doing. Next sentence, the participle is going to be mewing, describing kitten, further detail there. And there is no complement because the mewing is not being done to anything. However, how it is being done is energetically, so that is a modifier. And finally, in my last sentence, I saw the boy helping an old lady across the street. I saw an old lady. In that case, my participle is helping. My complement is lady because she is getting helped. And then an, the indefinite article for lady, and old, describing lady as well. Again, this whole phrase is describing boy, So as a single part of speech, that is an adjective. Diagramming a participial phrase is very simple. Again, because they are modifiers, the verb is going to go on a diagonal line. The ing or the ed, the end of it, is going to go on a horizontal line. So you see how this curves around? And again, unlike prepositional phrases where they had that little tail poking out, there is no tail here. It just straightens out kind of like an indirect object line. However, it will never be under the predicate because that would be an adverb. Participles, by their nature, are always adjectives. Now, because the complement is a noun, it has to go on a horizontal line too, because we're consistent with that. Subjects and complements always go on horizontal lines. So I would put a vertical line here if it were a transitive complement. So helping lady in the example from the previous one. So it's a vertical line like this because it's saying this is getting done to that. Now if you have a modifier of your participle, same deal as always, modifier is on a diagonal line under that which it modifies. So my example down here, the laughing kittens escaped. The should be capitalized, sorry for my typo. Describes kittens. Laughing also modifies them, so my base verb, laugh, is on the diagonal line. The ing goes on the horizontal line. So, I saw Crystal rescuing kittens. I is my subject, saw is my transitive verb, Crystal is my direct object. Describing Crystal is the rescuing kittens. So I did this to Crystal. Further detail is the rescue, and then the ing on a horizontal line. And then a vertical line stopping at this horizontal line saying this is getting done to the kittens. Now go ahead and pause for just a sec. Look at this sentence and try to parse out the different elements in it. I'd like you to go ahead and grab a piece of paper and do your best to diagram it. If you get stumped, go ahead and hit play. I'll start talking and explaining again in about 5 seconds. Okay, so subject, I. Again, the transitive verb saw. What I saw was Katie. Describing Katie is how she was standing by Joaquin's pool and she was eating a sandwich. Those are two separate participial phrases describing Katie. By Joaquin's pool is where she was standing. That's a prepositional phrase describing standing. Eating would be a transitive verb, sandwich being the object, or the complement rather. So I saw Katie. How I saw her was standing. Where? By Joaquin's pool. And eating, vertical line stopping at the horizontal line, a sandwich. Now, we already went over this one. I broke it down for you in the first slide that we went to. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for 5 seconds. You hit pause on your computer and give it a go to diagram this guy. I'll start talking again in just a minute. Okay, so the base sentence is villain is my subject, laughed is an intransitive verb that describes villain, of course, and maniacally is how he laughed. This entire participial phrase, like I said earlier, describes villain. So spinning a lasso, that is my complement. Further detail to lasso is that it is burning. How he's spinning it is over his head. Again, remember with your prep phrases, you always have that little tail standing down there. And again, maniacally describes laughed, the describes villain. And the spinning is capitalized because it is the initial word in the sentence. So what to do now? Look at the practice exercises I posted on Schoology for you and give them your best go. Rewatch this video if you find yourself getting stumped. Check the answers on your practice exercises. If you're wrong, I really heavily recommend that you rewatch the video. Then you take the exit quiz by its due date as many times as you need until you ace it. Take the exit survey so I know if we need to dedicate a little bit of class time. And if you're totally a C, you have no idea what's going on, seek me out for help. I'm always around. wondering why I have no friends. That's all I got for you today. Layered out.